World's most infamous missing persons.
Please don't scare her.
Name is Christian Brückner.
If a child can disappear in minutes while her parents are nearby, what kind of person could pull that off and leave almost nothing behind?
We don't know where she is. We don't know who's taken her, and we don't know why.
The night that never ended. For more than 17 years, one simple question has refused to disappear. What happened to Madeleine McCann? Not a theory, not a rumor, not a headline. A real 3-year-old child vanished from a locked holiday apartment while her parents were only minutes away. No screams were heard, no alarms were triggered, and whoever took her left behind almost nothing. In the years that followed, the world blamed the parents, chased false suspects, and drowned the case in noise. But while public attention moved on, investigators quietly kept returning to the same name, again and again. A man with a history of violence, a man who was in the same town that night, a man whose phone placed him near the scene, a man who has never explained where he was. His name is Christian Brückner.
Did you kidnap and kill Madeleine McCann?
My defense lawyers have told me to say nothing on this topic, and unfortunately I'm going to have to stick to that.
And this is not just the story of a missing child. This is the story of why, after nearly 2 decades, authorities still believe the truth may lead back to him. A case that refused to fade. In the days after Madeleine's disappearance, Portuguese police launched an urgent search. Roads were sealed, dogs were deployed, volunteers combed nearby fields and beaches. Yet there was no sign of Madeleine. No witnesses came forward with definitive answers. No clear suspect emerged. As days turned into weeks, the case exploded internationally. Media coverage intensified. The McCann parents became household names. Posters of Madeleine appeared across Europe. Donations poured in. Tip lines flooded with information, theories, and rumors. But the attention brought pressure. Investigators struggled under public scrutiny. Mistakes were made. False leads were followed. At times, suspicion even turned toward the parents themselves, a development that permanently complicated the case. Years passed. Leads dried up. Interest faded for some. But the file never closed. And then, more than a decade later, German authorities publicly identified a suspect they believed could finally explain what happened to Madeleine McCann. That suspect was Christian Brückner. Who is Christian Brückner? Christian Brückner is a German national born in 1977. Long before his name became linked to Madeleine McCann, he had already accumulated a troubling criminal history.
We have played no part in the disappearance of our lovely daughter, Madeleine.
His past includes theft, burglary, drug trafficking, and most disturbingly, sexual offenses involving children. Brückner lived an unstable life. He drifted between countries, frequently staying in Portugal, particularly in the Algarve region. He had no permanent employment, no consistent address, and often survived through illegal activities. This transient lifestyle made him difficult to track, both before and after crimes occurred. By the time Madeleine disappeared in 2007, Brückner was already known to law enforcement in multiple countries. He was not a man who appeared out of nowhere. He existed on the edges of society, largely unnoticed by tourists, yet familiar to police. What made him especially relevant was not just who he was, but where he was. Brückner in Praia da Luz. At the time Madeleine McCann vanished, Christian Brückner was living in or around Praia da Luz. This fact alone elevated him from background criminal to potential suspect. Praia da Luz is not a large town. Movements are noticeable. Outsiders stand out. Yet Brückner blended in by living quietly, moving frequently, and interacting minimally with others. He was familiar with the area's layout, the holiday apartments, and the patterns of tourists. Investigators later discovered that Brückner had access to vehicles during this period, including a camper van. He also used multiple mobile phones and SIM cards, a behavior often associated with criminal intent and evasion. Most importantly, he was physically present in the exact location at the exact time when Madeleine disappeared. The phone records that raised alarms. Years after the original investigation stalled, German authorities revisited old evidence using modern technology. Among the most significant discoveries were mobile phone records. These records showed that a phone registered to Christian Brückner.
I wanted to ask them to stop this witch hunt against me and give me my life back. I was told that Mr. Wolters couldn't be bothered to speak to me and that I should leave the building.
Received a call on the night Madeleine disappeared. That call placed him in or near Praia da Luz. During the critical time window, the call itself was brief. Its content remains unknown. But its timing was devastatingly important. It directly contradicted any claim that Brückner was elsewhere. In cold cases, location evidence is rare. In this case, it was precise. Investigators now had proof that Brückner was not only in Portugal, not only in the Algarve, but specifically in the small resort town where a child vanished without a trace. The man seen carrying a child. In the aftermath of Madeleine's disappearance, several witnesses came forward describing a man seen carrying a small child late at night near the McCann apartment complex. At the time, these sightings were confusing and inconsistent. Some descriptions differed, others lacked clarity. No immediate arrest followed. Years later, as investigators re-examined witness statements, certain descriptions began to align more closely with Christian Brückner's physical appearance and movements. None of these sightings conclusively identified him. However, when combined with phone records, criminal history, and location data, they became part of a much larger pattern. Cold cases are rarely solved through a single piece of evidence. They are built through accumulation, and the accumulation was growing. A history too close to ignore. One of the most compelling reasons investigators continue to focus on Christian Brückner is his established pattern of behavior. In 2019, Brückner was convicted in Germany for the rape of a 72-year-old woman in Praia da Luz. That crime occurred in 2005, just 2 years before Madeleine disappeared. The location was the same town. The methods showed similarities. The timeline overlapped. This conviction proved something critical. Brückner was capable of violent sexual crime in Praia da Luz. It removed speculation and replaced it with fact.
The accused is a sex offender with several previous convictions, who has already been convicted of sexual abuse of children.
His name is Christian Brückner.
To investigators, this was not coincidence. It was confirmation that Brückner had both the capability and the willingness to commit serious crimes in that exact area. Why, no charges yet. Despite publicly naming Christian Brückner as a suspect, German prosecutors have not charged him with Madeleine McCann's abduction or death. This frustrates many observers, but legally, belief is not enough. Prosecutors require evidence that can survive court scrutiny. Circumstantial evidence, no matter how compelling, must be supported by something definitive. Investigators have searched properties linked to Brückner. They have seized hard drives, memory cards, and digital storage devices. They have reviewed years of material. Yet the final piece, direct proof connecting him to Madeleine, remains elusive. That absence does not clear him. It simply delays justice. Brückner's silence. Christian Brückner has denied involvement in Madeleine McCann's disappearance. He has not provided a detailed explanation of his movements that night. He has not offered information that definitively excludes him. Silence in itself is not evidence, but in this case, it is noticeable. Those who have followed the investigation closely note that Brückner has spoken freely about other crimes, sometimes even boasting. Yet when it comes to Madeleine McCann, he says nothing meaningful. For investigators, silence can be as revealing as confession. Why investigators keep returning to him. Cold cases often attract dozens of suspects over the years. Most are eventually dismissed. Christian Brückner has not been. He remains relevant because he fits the case too well. His location, history, opportunity, and behavior, because investigators, after examining thousands of leads, continue to return to him. Because the truth has not yet been proven, but it has not been forgotten. Until the evidence is found, the case remains open. Until justice is served, the questions remain.